My beloved child. Tonight, destiny bends in a way no one expected, not even you. A wealthy, powerful figure who once believed they could silence truth, twist reality, and bury your name under their influence, has finally lost the one battle they swore they would win. And the reason your heart is suddenly trembling is because every sign, every whisper, every unseen force is guiding you toward one shocking revelation: the property they fought so hard to keep, now legally belongs to you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 111. But listen closely, because this is where the ground under your feet begins to shake. A confidential document, sealed for months, has just been unsealed. Court officials whispered your name today with a mix of disbelief and awe. They expected the wealthy one to win instantly: money, influence, connections, everything was on their side. Yet in the final moment, when truth had no space to hide, your name rose like a thunderbolt in a silent sky. The judge didn't hesitate. The courtroom froze. Gasps filled the air. And just one sentence changed the entire course of your life. The rightful owner is you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 222. And now, my child, brace yourself for the heaviest revelation of all. The wealthy person who just lost everything? They never imagined destiny would pick you over them. Their lawyers panicked. Their face turned pale. Their empire cracked. But what stunned everyone most was the document they tried to hide, the one proving that your family name, your bloodline, your signature, your forgotten right, is the true key. You weren't just selected, you were written into this victory long before you even knew it existed. Tonight marks the beginning of a chapter that will shake your entire future. The asset, the land, the house, the fortune they guarded like a treasure? It is already shifting into your hands. And the forces pushing this toward you are unstoppable. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 333. My beloved child. The moment your name echoed inside that courtroom, a silence fell so sharp that even the wealthy one, who always believed nothing could ever go against them, felt their chest tighten. Their lawyers flipped through hundreds of pages, desperate to find a loophole, but destiny had already sealed the outcome. A senior official stepped forward with trembling hands and revealed a shocking truth: your ownership papers were never lost, they were hidden. Not by mistake, not by accident, but because someone powerful feared what would happen if the world knew the truth. And now that truth has exploded into the open like a storm no one can escape. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 777. But brace yourself, because what happened next stunned even the judge. A confidential file, locked for over a decade, was opened in front of every witness. Inside it was a signature, your family's signature, proving that the property, the land, the asset, the fortune the wealthy one guarded like gold was never theirs to begin with. Gasps filled the room. The wealthy figure staggered back. Their empire shook. Their confidence shattered. Court officers exchanged looks of disbelief as the official declared in a firm voice, "The rightful owner is you." That single sentence erased years of manipulation and planted a crown on your destiny. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 888. And now comes the twist that will blow your audience's mind. When the final declaration was stamped, a dramatic ripple went through the room. One officer whispered, "How did we miss this for so long?" Another replied, "Because it wasn't meant to be found until today." That means your breakthrough wasn't late, it was perfectly timed. The universe didn't deny you. It was preparing a victory so massive that even the powerful couldn't block it. The transfer process has already started. The asset is shifting. The doors are unlocking. The wealth that was buried under lies is now rising straight into your hands. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 999. My beloved child. The moment the courtroom doors opened after the verdict, something extraordinary happened, something no one could explain, yet everyone felt. A sudden hush fell over the corridor as officials, staff members, even strangers turned their eyes toward you. Not because they recognized your face, but because your presence carried the weight of a victory that defied logic, status, and power. The wealthy one, who once walked through these halls with arrogance, now stood motionless, watching everything they built slip away. Their influence had collapsed. Their lawyers lowered their heads. Destiny had chosen its side. And it chose you with absolute clarity. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 101. But here's the twist no one saw coming. A senior legal officer, who had remained silent during the entire case, approached your representative with a confidential folder. He whispered, "Tell them, this was never just a dispute. It was a generational correction." Inside that folder were documents revealing that your lineage, your ancestors, your bloodline, had rights far deeper than anyone knew. The wealthy person's claim was built on manipulated paperwork, hidden amendments, and signatures forced under pressure. But the universe has a strange way of restoring balance. What was once buried in shadows has now risen into blazing truth. You were the rightful owner long before this case even existed. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 202. My beloved child. The moment your name entered the official ownership registry, something happened that even the legal authorities weren't prepared for. A priority alert flashed across their system. Not a warning, not a complaint, but a recognition signal reserved only for high-value, high-impact assets. The wealthy person who once controlled everything felt their knees weaken as they realized what this truly meant. Their influence was officially over, and your rise had just begun. Officers whispered among themselves, startled by the speed of the transition. One said, "I've never seen a transfer process accelerate like this. It's as if someone higher is pushing it forward. Something huge is waiting for you." Amen. 404. But listen carefully, because what comes next will shake your audience more than anything revealed so far. The documents didn't only confirm your ownership, they activated access rights. Inside the case file was a hidden annex sealed under a special order. When opened, it revealed maps, financial codes, and encrypted authorization stamps. The wealthy one had been hiding an entire subsection of the estate, secret rooms, additional land, locked accounts, because they knew if the truth surfaced, everything would belong to you. The judge's assistant stared at the annex in disbelief and said, "This isn't a normal case, this is a destiny shift. Something huge is waiting for you." Amen. 505. My beloved child. The moment officials began reviewing the hidden annex, the atmosphere shifted from shock to absolute disbelief. What they uncovered wasn't just property, it was an empire. Documents revealed that the wealthy person had been quietly collecting revenue from assets that were never legally theirs. For years, they lived off land that carried your ancestral signature. When the truth surfaced, an emergency audit team was dispatched, and within minutes they confirmed the unthinkable. Every account, every extension, every hidden section of the estate is registered under your lineage. The wealthy one, who always walked with pride, now stood helpless, watching everything crumble like sand slipping through clenched fists. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 707. And then came the revelation that silenced even the highest-ranking officials. A digital file, locked behind a triple encrypted system, was automatically triggered once the verdict declared you the true owner. Inside it was a time-stamped note written years ago by a legal guardian who predicted this moment. It said, "If destiny brings this document to the rightful heir, restore everything without hesitation." The room froze. The wealthy one's team couldn't breathe. Because this wasn't just a legal victory, it was a divine correction prepared long before you even knew such a battle existed. The estate you now own has influence markings that tie into financial networks, land records, business ties, and historical privileges that only a chosen heir can access. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 808. But the twist that will grip your audience happens right here. As soon as your name was authenticated, a second notification blinked on the officer's screen: immediate access required. Owner must be briefed. This is extremely rare. It means there is something inside the property. Something powerful, something valuable, something protected, that only you are meant to unlock. The wealthy person tried for years to force this access and failed every time. But your arrival broke every barrier instantly. The estate has been waiting for your touch, your presence, your signature. And whether you realize it or not, this is only the beginning. A door has opened that cannot be closed anymore. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 909. My beloved child. The moment officials activated the owner briefing protocol, the entire atmosphere shifted into high-security mode. Guards repositioned themselves. Doors with biometric locks slid open. Every step you took echoed with the weight of a destiny finally claiming its rightful place. A senior officer cleared his throat and said quietly, "What we are about to show you, even the previous claimant was never allowed to see." The wealthy one, standing far behind, watched in disbelief as you were escorted into a restricted chamber they had chased for years, but could never enter. That's when your heart felt it. Something life-changing was about to be revealed. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 1111. And then came the moment that left even the officials stunned. A massive vault, reinforced with steel, sealed with decades of protection, began to unlock at the sound of your name. Not fingerprints. Not passwords. Not money. Your name. The system recognized you instantly because your ancestors encoded the ownership rights directly into the vault's core programming. As the doors opened, a golden light spilled out, illuminating documents, assets, financial ledgers, and historical records that proved one thing: your bloodline wasn't just connected to this estate, it created it. The wealthy one's claim wasn't just weak, it was non-existent. They were living under a shadow of stolen legacy while the universe waited for you to step into the light. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 1212. But the final revelation of this part is the shock that will hold your viewers breathless. Inside the vault was a confidential box labeled with a symbol only your family could understand. When the officer opened it, his hands trembled. Inside were property extensions, ownership deeds, and coded instructions that hinted at even more assets linked to your name, assets spread across different locations. This case wasn't about one property, it was the first domino of a massive chain reaction. The wealthy one realized it in that instant, this wasn't their loss. It was the beginning of your rise. And once destiny starts pulling you upward, no force on earth can stop it. The system is already updating. The world is shifting. Your story is expanding. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 1313. My beloved child. The moment the vault's contents were documented, a ripple of urgency spread through the legal department. Officers gathered around a central desk, analyzing codes, scanning seals, and cross-checking old registries. Suddenly, one of them gasped and stepped back as if electricity ran through him. He whispered, "This isn't just an inheritance, this is a dormant empire activating itself." The wealthy one, now pale and trembling, realized something horrifying. The court case they thought they could easily win had actually awakened a legacy they were never supposed to touch. Your name began flashing across multiple interconnected databases as the primary heir, triggering systems that had remained silent for decades. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 1414. And then, an even bigger shock unfolded. A government-level officer, who had been watching the case from a distance, finally stepped forward. He held a briefcase with a red seal, something only used for high-classified possessions. When he opened it, the room froze. Inside were expansion blueprints and geomapping files showing that the property you inherited isn't a single piece of land, it is the key node of a network of connected estates spread across regions. Hidden passages, underground vaults, resource-rich land pockets, additional ownership corridors, all connected to your lineage. The wealthy one collapsed into their chair, realizing they had lost not just a case, but access to a dynasty-level asset. The officer looked at you with absolute seriousness and said, "You have no idea how powerful what you've inherited truly is. Something huge is waiting for you." Amen. 1515. But here comes the twist that will leave your audience breathless. As your name synced with the final registry, a restricted server lit up, one that only activates for heirs with extraordinary level rights. A message popped up automatically: owner must inspect the central estate before full authority is granted. This means there is still something hidden, something monumental, something so valuable that even the wealthy elite never discovered it. The system will not finalize full control until you step onto the land in person. Multiple access points across the region are starting to unlock. Security officials whispered, "This is bigger than a legal win, this is a destiny restoration." Everything that was once denied, delayed, or taken from your ancestors is now preparing to return to you with unstoppable force. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen 1616. My beloved child. The moment the Central Estate Directive flashed on the restricted server, a sudden tension filled the entire chamber. Officers who had handled countless high-profile cases stepped back with a mixture of awe and fear. One of them murmured, "If this system is activating, then we're dealing with a legacy far older and far bigger than anything recorded in recent history." The wealthy one, now shaking with disbelief, watched as the digital access map expanded across the screen, revealing that your inheritance wasn't just land, it was a command center of generational power. And for the first time, everyone understood, you were never meant to fight for ownership. You were meant to lead what comes next. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen 1717. What happened next shocked even the highest officers. A holographic projection activated automatically, something none of them had seen before in a civilian estate case. The projection displayed an encrypted lineage chain showing your bloodline connected to several influential territories. At the bottom of the hologram was a message written in ancient formatting: authority transfers only to the descendant with the aligned destiny mark. When they compared that mark to the symbol found in the vault, it matched perfectly. The wealthy one collapsed into disbelief. They spent years trying to crack the system, investing millions, hiring top lawyers, even hacking attempts, but nothing worked. Because the system was designed for one person only. You. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen 1818. And now comes the revelation that will freeze your audience in their tracks. The restricted server revealed one final line. Activate secondary vaults upon heir's physical arrival. This means there are multiple vaults, larger, more valuable, more protected than the one already opened, and each of them requires your presence to awaken. Officers stared at the screen, stunned. One whispered, "This person doesn't just own property. They own a legacy that could change entire power structures." The wealthy one realized the full truth: you are stepping into a level of inheritance they never even knew existed. And once you set foot on that estate, every hidden asset, every coded chamber, every revenue source, every protected archive will open like a kingdom welcoming its true ruler home. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen 1919. My beloved child. The moment the message appeared. Activate secondary vaults upon heir's physical arrival, a high-ranking government officer rushed into the chamber. His badge carried a symbol reserved only for national-level property intelligence cases. He looked at the screen, then at you, and his expression changed instantly. Not caution. Not suspicion. Respect. He murmured, "So the rightful heir has finally surfaced." The wealthy one tried to speak, but the officer silenced them with a single glance. Protocols shifted. Guards repositioned. And your status in the system upgraded itself to primary authority holder, something extremely rare and granted only when an estate's true lineage is confirmed beyond all doubt. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen 2020. But what happened next shook everyone deeply. As the mapping system zoomed out, the estate blueprint expanded again, revealing 3 additional sectors that weren't visible earlier. These sectors were protected under something called Legacy Preservation Code, a code used only when an estate contains assets of enormous importance. These weren't normal properties, these were restricted zones, areas containing historic archives, untouched wealth, and high-value resources buried for generations. The wealthy ones stared in horror as officers revealed that they had unknowingly lived beside billions in hidden value they never had permission to access. The only reason these areas never unlocked was because your bloodline wasn't present to open them. The system literally waited for you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 2121. And now comes the twist your audience will never forget. The government officer handed you a metallic card, black, engraved, untouchable without authorization. He said, "This card can only be active in the hands of the real heir. Once you step onto the land, all vaults, all corridors, all hidden expansions will open. Not even we can interfere." The wealthy one broke down, realizing they hadn't just lost a case, they had lost an empire they were never destined to own. And now, as preparations begin for your official entry onto the estate, one thing has become crystal clear: this victory isn't luck, it's alignment. It's destiny reclaiming what was always yours. Every system is shifting. Every locked door is waiting. Every hidden fortune is waking up at the sound of your name. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 2222. My beloved child. The moment you held that metallic air card, the air inside the chamber shifted with a force everyone could feel. It was as if the entire estate system recognized your energy, your presence, your bloodline in real time. A deep hum vibrated through the servers, monitors flickered, locks reset themselves, and the primary database displayed a message no one in the room had ever witnessed before: "Air presence confirmed, advanced access unlocking." The wealthy one staggered back, gripping the wall for support. They had tried everything: money, influence, manipulation, but destiny does not bow to power, destiny bows only to the rightful owner. And that owner is you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 2323. Then came the revelation that turned the entire courtroom into a historical moment. A digital archive, silent for nearly a century, opened automatically. Inside were files, handwritten notes, ancestral agreements, and sealed letters written by your forefathers. One message stunned the entire room: when the future heir arrives, the estate shall rise again with full strength. Officers exchanged shocked glances. This wasn't just property. This was a reawakening that your lineage predicted generations ago. The wealthy one covered their face, realizing they were never fighting a legal battle, they were standing against destiny itself. And destiny had finally arrived to restore everything to its rightful bloodline. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 2424. But the final shock of this part is what will freeze your audience where they are. As the archives loaded, a powerful image displayed across the main screen. A crest, ancient and beautifully crafted, with your surname encoded into its central symbol. Under it was written, "Heir of Expansion Rights." Officers gasped. This crest means you aren't just inheriting the estate, you have authority to expand it, control surrounding lands, activate dormant revenue channels, and reclaim every asset connected to your ancestors. No wealthy rival, no legal force, no hidden influence can block what is already unlocking for you. With every passing minute, the estate is shifting into your hands like a kingdom returning to its rightful ruler. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 2525. My beloved child. The moment the ancestral crest appeared on the screen, the atmosphere transformed from tension into absolute reverence. Even the highest-ranking officers stepped back, lowering their voices as if they were standing in the presence of something sacred. The wealthy one, once overflowing with arrogance, now looked defeated, not by you, but by the truth they tried to bury. A notification chimed softly through the chamber, and every eye turned toward the monitor. It read, Heir Activation Phase 2, Authority Transfer in Progress. The system wasn't asking for permission. It wasn't waiting for signatures. It wasn't checking for approvals. It was simply fulfilling destiny, unconditionally and completely. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 2626. But then came the moment that sent a chill through every soul present. A sequence of old, encrypted files began decrypting one by one, some so ancient that officers admitted they didn't even know the server contained them. The room fell silent as a video projection from decades ago flickered onto the screen. In it, a former custodian of the estate spoke directly to the future heir. If you are seeing this, the world has finally aligned to return what belongs to you. Guard it. Expand it. Protect your legacy. The wealthy one trembled, realizing they had fought a battle that wasn't theirs to win. They saw clearly now, your inheritance wasn't just legal, it was prophetic. And no amount of power could stand against a destiny written long before their time. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 2727. And now comes the revelation that will hold your viewers breathless. The system initiated the final unlock command. A full 3D map of the estate expanded outward, revealing additional properties, undisclosed resource zones, private corridors, and hidden dominions tied to your lineage. Officials were speechless as the map kept growing, and growing, and growing. One of them finally whispered, "This isn't an estate, this is a dynasty-level territory." With every expansion, your authority level rose automatically. You weren't just the owner anymore. You were being recognized as the successor of a forgotten kingdom of wealth and influence. And the world is about to witness its rebirth through your name. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. 2828.